Hey guys, Joshua Neal here, and today we're taking a look at the Hangman's Body Count by Volbeat. This record is a personal favorite of mine. It's something that one of my in-person students turned me on to about a year ago. She actually wanted to learn this song, and I ended up falling in love with the record and buying it myself, and it was the only thing in my car for a good 6 to 8 weeks. So I wanted to bring that love of this record, and in particular this song, to you guys. Remember, if you enjoy the lesson, please click like and let me know. You can also leave me a comment or a request for a song that you would like to learn. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future updates. And as always, be sure to grab that full riff by riff note and tab transcription downstairs so that you can follow along at home. All right, let's get to it. Before we get started, we'll need to tune our bass. Volbeat tunes in D standard. So that is pretty easy to get to on a 4-string bass or any bass really. All you're going to do is drop each of your strings a full step down so that your low E in this case is going to come down to a D. Your A is going to come down to a G. Your C will come down to, or sorry, your D will come down to a C. And your G is going to come down to an F. So again, we have D, G, C, and F. If you're on a 5-string bass and you want to make everything line up, you would take your low B string down to an A. So you would have A, D, G, C, F, rather than just D, G, C, F. I am doing this on a 4-string because that's what the bassist in Volbeat is using, and I'm also using a pick again because that's what he's using. But this song is not too fast, so if you wanted to play it with your fingers, you would be just fine. So let's get into the transcription. Looking at riff number 1, this riff we're going to see in the beginning of the song after the guitar intro. We're also going to see it a couple times throughout the rest of the song. We're in 12/8 at this point and down around 69 beats per minute, so not too fast. If you're not familiar with time signatures that are over 8, this is what's called compound time rather than simple time, which is anything over 4 or over 2. In simple time, we divide the beat into 2 even parts, into even 8th notes, so it ends up being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Whereas in compound time, we divide the beat into 3 equal parts, so it ends up being 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So we're dividing the beat into triplets. 12/8, put very simply, is 4/4 time, but with triplets as the beat rather than even 8th notes. So I'll go through this one piece by piece just so you can get a handle on it if you're not comfortable with 12/8. But if you've listened to the song a couple times, and I hope you have, you should be able to pick up on the feel pretty easily. So most of this riff is going to be happening on the 5th fret of the E string. I'm going to keep calling the strings as if we were in standard tuning, even though we're in D standard. So I'm going to keep calling the low D string now. I'm still going to call it the E. We're going to start on the 5th fret of the E string. And the first 2 beats, we're going to have 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. And I'll break the beats into groups of 3 rather than, or counting them as 1, 2, 3, just to make it easier. Traditionally, you would count it 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. But just to make it simpler for everyone, especially those of you who are more beginning bass players or those of you who don't read traditional music yet, we'll break it into groups of 3 to make it a little easier. So far we have 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now this variation here, this is the only time it happens. Every other time is going to be a little different, is going to be more consistent. The 3rd beat of that measure is 1, 2, and 3, and. So instead of hitting beat 3 and of the triplet and holding it, we're actually going to divide that in half. We're going to divide that into 16th notes. Again, 1, 2, and 3, and. So that, and that goes into another 1, 2, and 3 on the last beat. So the first bar so far, which is the only one that's a little bit different than the others, is 1, 2, and 3, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 2, and 3, and 4, 2, and 3. Now the next bar and most of the subsequent bars are going to be the pretty much the same all the way through. That's going to start on still on the 5th fret, but we're going to do that 1, 2, and 3 and thing that we typically do all the way through, rather than doing the 1, 2, and 3. So that 4th bar, not that 4th bar, that 2nd bar is going to be 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. So we're just alternating between playing all the way through that 3rd beat of the triplet and letting it hang on the 3rd beat of the triplet. 2 and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Like that. The next bar is going to be the same. And then in the next bar, we're going to get to keeping that 1, 2, and 3 and going through the whole 3 beats. So the first 3 beats of that bar are going to be the same. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3. And then at this point, we're going to hop down to the 3rd fret of the E string, and we're going to hold that note for the first 2 counts of the triplet, and then we're going to hit it again on the last beat. 1, 2, 3. So that last bar of riff number 1 altogether is 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. And that goes right into riff number 1A in this case. We're going to just vary the rhythms a little bit, but it's still going to be based around the 1, 2, and 3 and rhythm that we had. In this case, though, instead of on the next beat going to a 1, 2, and 3 like we've been doing before, we're just going to hit 3 even triplet 8th notes on that beat. Just 1, 2, 3. And then the 3rd beat is going to be the same as the first, 1, 2, and 3 and then on the 4th beat we would hop down to the 3rd fret again and do that 1, 2, 3 rhythm that we did in the previous bar. So riff number 1A, starting at the 1st bar, going through the 1st bar, would look like 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. The next bar and the bar after that are going to be exactly the same. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3. Very last bar, all we're going to change is the last beat. So we still have 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and on this 4th beat, we're going to go down to the 3rd fret again, but we're going to hit all 3 beats of the triplet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to land on the 5th fret, and we're going to let that hang before the next riff comes in. This one is a little tricky to catch because it's essentially a dead stop, and then the band all comes back in. But if you listen very carefully in the background of the recording, you can actually hear the drummer counting it off on the hi-hat. It's very, very faint, but it is possible to pick it out, and he counts off 8 total beats, so 2 bars of 4/4 before we come back in. And that happens in riff number 2. Here we've gone into just straight 4/4, and we've also sped up a little bit. We're at around 204 beats per minute at this point, but we're not really doing anything. We're not doing anything faster than 8th notes, so it doesn't get too bad. This riff number 2 is just some catches on the 5th fret of the E string to build up into the next riff. So that those hits are going to be on beat 1 of the 1st bar. Then we're going to rest all the way through that bar, and the first 2 times we're also going to rest through the 2nd bar and catch on beat 4 in the same place. So we're going to have a lot of 4/1 on the low string. And then the 3rd time through, we're actually going to rest all the way through the bar. We're going to get rid of that that catch. So let me back up and just go through the first, second, and third ending of number 2 before I talk about how we wrap it up. It's all on the 5th fret of the low string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third ending, 2, 3, 4. And here we're going to grab the 8th fret of the low string. We're going to hold that for 4 counts, and then we're going to jump down to the 3rd fret, and we're going to hold that for 4 counts as well. So those last 2 measures are 8, 2, 3, 4, 3rd, 2, 3, 4. And that goes right into riff number 2A. This is the main verse riff, and we're going to see this rhythm constantly all over the song. So let's start breaking it down. Again, mostly going to be on the 5th fret of the low string. We're doing kind of a counter rhythm to the main rhythm guitar part, that part. We're going to be catching a lot of those accents that he's doing, so that if you're listening to that, that can definitely help you line up this riff. Just counting it out, staying on the 5th fret here, we've got 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3. That's your main rhythm. And the first 2 times for that last beat of the ending, we're going to grab the 3rd fret on beat 4, and we're going to hammer on into the 5th fret again to repeat the riff. So the first 2 times through this kind of riff is going to be 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, 4, and. Third time through, we're going to start the same way, but we're going to change the end of the ending, as it were. 1, 2, and 4 into the 3rd ending. 1, and 3, and 4. We're going to stay on that 5th fret rather than going down to the hammer-on. So that 3rd ending again is 1, and 3, and 4. Then we're going to hop up to the 8th fret again, and we're going to play 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And then down to the 3rd fret, and we're going to play that same rhythm. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So let me go through riff 2A all the way through with all the endings so you can see how it's combined. 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, 4, and top, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, 4, and top, 2, and 4, 3rd ending, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, and 4. Going into riff number 3, it's a lot of the same stuff as riff number 2A. We're just going to omit that 8th fret to 3rd fret run that we have. We're going to typically go down to the low open E string on that. The first time through that riff number 3, or the first half of riff number 3, after we get through the 1, and 3, and 4 in the 3rd ending that we had, we're going to grab a low open E string. We're going to hold that for 7 counts total, and then on the 8th count we're going to hit the 3rd fret of the low string to get us back into the top of the riff. So that first half of riff number 3, I'm going to go right to the 3rd ending because the 1st and the 2nd ending are the same as the previous riff. I'm going to go right into the 3rd ending and finish out that half so you can see it. 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, and 4, open, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3rd fret on the 8th beat. Next half of the riff, again, the 1st and the 2nd ending are the same with the hammer on there. 3rd ending is the same as well. 1, and 3, and 4. Really the only difference between the 2 halves of the riff is you don't grab that 3rd fret at the very end to get back to the top of the riff, because we're going into a different riff. So you're going to hit the low open E string and you're going to hold it for the full 2 bars, the full 8 counts. So that second half of number 3, this is bar 25 in the transcription. I'm going to go right to the 3rd ending and finish it out. 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Into riff number 4. We're going to be up on the 8th fret of the low string again. We're going to hold this for 8 total counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down to the 7th fret for the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 2 total bars if you prefer to think of it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's okay too. From there, we just finished on the 7th fret. We're down to the 5th fret on the low string. And we've got 1, 2, and 3, and 4 in that measure. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. We're going to tie into the next bar, and the first 2 beats of the next bar. Then we're going to hop up to the 7th fret. And we're going to hammer on into the 8th fret. And from there, we're actually going to slide down back into the 5th fret. So that, no, we'll keep going, and then we'll finish it up. So we just did that 7 to 8 hammer on. We're going to slide into the 5th fret. We'll do that same rhythm that we had before. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2. And then back up to the 7th and 8th fret hammer on, and then there's a little variation in here. I'm not sure if it's intentional or unintentional. It goes by so quickly that it might just be an artifact of the guys playing. But since I hear it every single time in this riff, I decided to include it. We do the 7th to the 8th fret hammer on, but instead of sliding down, we're actually going to pull off to the 7th fret and then slide that, or hammer that if you prefer, back into the top of the riff. So that, this is measure 36, the measure right before the first ending of riff number 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And at the speed that the song is going, that last 7th fret is going to go by really, really quickly. So putting together what we have so far through the first ending of number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 2, hammer, slide. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, hammer, and we go back into the top. The riff is going to be the same until we get to that first ending. Really, the only thing that changes is instead of doing that little pull off back into the 7th fret and going back to the top of the riff, we're actually going to do the exact same hammer on and slide down that we did in the middle of the riff. 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, and except we're going to slide all the way down to the 1st fret, and we're going to have a 1st fret to an open with the exact same rhythm in both halves. On the 1st fret, it's going to be 1, 2, and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Then to the open, exact same rhythm. 1, 2, and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So I'm going to go back to the top of riff number 4, and I'm going to take the 2nd ending so that you can see how that's put together. From the 8th fret, top of number 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, hammer, slide. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, hammer, all the way down. 1, 2, and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And then that would go back into riff number 2A to take you through another verse. Now we're looking at riff number 5. Now this is the extension of riff number 1A, or an extension of riff number 1. So you could actually think of this as 1B. At this point, we've gone through riff number 1 again, coming up to the post-chorus, or the part that we have right before the solos. And that would go directly into this riff number 5. So you'll at this point we will have been back in 12/8 for quite some time. So we're already back in 12/8. We've done the that kind of riff, and now we're going into this riff number 5. Now this is just straight up 16th notes, or straight up alternate picking at this point. Since the beat unit is now 8th notes, we're typically seeing those as downstrokes. So if we do down, up, down, up, down, up, alternate picking, we're going to end up with 16th notes. And we have a full measure of 16th notes on the 5th fret. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and... We're going to repeat that measure 3 times, unchanged. And when we finish that, we're going to go into the next measure. The only thing that changes here is on that last beat, you're going to move down to the 3rd fret and do that 1, 2, 3 rhythm. So that next measure in number 5, after we've done the 3 times repeat and we get out of it, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2, 3. And we're actually going to slide out of that down into the 1st fret, and we're going to have 3 beats of solid 16th notes on this 1st fret. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 2 and 3, and on the very last beat we're going to have 2 beats of the 16th notes, and then on the 3rd beat we're going to hit that 1st fret solid, and we're going to slide back up to the 5th fret to get into the next riff. So that last beat in riff number 5 is 4 and 2 and 3, and we're coming back up. So putting riff number 5 all together a little faster because it's pretty straightforward. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. Going on. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and coming right up, sliding into riff number 6, and this is the riff that we play under the solo, or under the actually under both solos, including the solo that's going to take us out of the song, but we'll get to that in a bit. Top of riff number 6, we're back to that 5th fret, and we're doing the 1, 2, and 3 and type of rhythm as the primary in this riff. We've got 3 beats of that. 1, 2, and 3 and 2, 2 and 3 and 3, 2 and 3 and. Then we're going to have a little hammer-on here, a little quick hammer-on from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on that first beat, that first 8th note beat. Then 2nd beat we hit the 5th fret, 3rd beat we hit the 3rd fret. So we've got 1, 2 and 3 and 2, 2 and 3 and 3, 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. Down into the 1st fret, we're going to do the same rhythm we had there, mostly 16th notes except for the very last beat. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Back up to the 5th fret. We're going to do the exact same thing we did in the first measure. 1, 2 and 3 and 2, 2 and 3 and 3, 2 and 3 and hammer, 2, 3. And then from here we get into the melodic portion where we really join the guitars, or we really help harmonize with the guitars. That's going to start on the 3rd fret, and you'll notice this is not its own separate riff because it is part of this entire solo, so I chose to keep it as one riff, but this second half of the riff is going to contain some 1st, 2nd, and 3rd endings, some variation in it. So when you take that repeat after the 1st and the 2nd ending, make sure you're only going back to the beginning of the melodic part, which is measure 49. You don't want to go all the way back to the top of riff number 6. So again, starting in the middle of the riff, starting at that beginning repeat sign, measure 49, we're on the 3rd fret. We're going to hold that for a full beat within 12/8. So for 3 8 notes, or 3 counts. Then as even eighth notes or triplet eighth notes, we're going to have 3rd fret on the A, 5th fret on the A, 7th fret on the A, back to the 5th fret, and we're going to hold that for 3 eighth notes as well. 2, 3. Then we're going to have even triplet eighths again, 5th fret again, 3rd fret for 2 on the E string. And then the first and second ending, we're going to go to the 5th fret on the E string to start. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then jumping to the 2nd fret on the A string. And the reason that I jumped to the 2nd fret on the A string rather than the 7th fret on the E string is because of the speed that this is going by. I feel like it's easier to do it in a higher position or in a lower position and go down to the open string rather than trying to dance around here. It also keeps the melodic moving stuff all on the A string, which I personally think sounds a little bit better. So getting back into it, first and second ending, we already did the 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We jump to the 2nd fret of the A string, and we're going to do 16th notes straight through this beat. 1 and 2 and 3, and then we get the quick moving line here. That's going to be 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open, another open, and then a 2nd fret, which leads us back into the 3rd fret to do that melodic line again. So starting at the middle of number 6, this is measure 49, I'm going to play the first ending so that you can see how both of those measures get put together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and you'd be back into that 3rd fret. You do the exact same thing again. 3rd time through, you get to this 3rd fret here, you do the same melodic line, 3, 5, 7, 5, 5, 3, 3. Into the 3rd ending, you've got the same 5th fret rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the same even 16th notes on the 2nd fret here, 1 and 2 and 3 and, but we changed the last beat because we need to get down to this 1st fret on the low string. So that last beat in the 3rd ending, we're going to start on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're going to have 2 16th notes on that, 1 and, we're going to have 2 16th notes on the 2nd fret, 2 and, then we're going to have 1 hit on the open A string, and then 1 hit on the 3rd fret of the E string. So that last beat there, we've got 3, 3, 2, 2, 0, 3. Going into the last measure, we're on the 1st fret. We're going to hold that for a full beat for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to hit even eighth notes. 1, 2, 3. Then down to the open string for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. Then even eighth notes. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go back to the middle of riff number 6, bar 49, and I'm going to play into the 3rd ending and finish out the riff so you can see that. From the 3rd fret on the A. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That goes right into riff number 7. This you could also think of as riff number 2B. This is also where we switch back into the fast 4/4 rather than the slow 12/8. The 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd ending, this is exactly like riff number 2A that we saw before. Except we have these catches on the low E string and then finishing on the 3rd fret of the low E string. These line up exactly with the guitar and the drums. It's a full band thing. But if we are counting it out, you're going to hold the each of these hits for a quarter note or for the length of 2 eighth notes. Then you're going to rest for a single eighth note, a half of a beat. So if you would like, you can think of this in terms of the number of eighth notes that everything takes up. You can subdivide it, is what it's called. So in that case, we would have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Up to the 3rd fret on the E, and we'd hold that for 2 beats. So in time, that would be and. And this one also goes right into the next riff. This goes into riff number 8. The only reason I chose to write this separately is so that there's no confusion. This is just the second half of riff number 3. So you could think of this as number 3A. Rather than, you go through the first and the second and the third ending, and they're exactly the same as riff number 3 or riff number 2A. And that's 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 2, hammer, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 2, hammer, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 3, and 4. Down to that open E, and you hold that for the full 8 counts, rather than going to the 3rd fret, then repeating the riff, then doing the hold on the low E string for 8 counts. We go right to the hold on the E string, cut this verse in half, and then that goes through some choruses and various bridge riffs and all that, and then that gets us into riff number 9. Oh, I forgot to mention, coming out of the final chorus before we get into the outro of the song, when we're doing that riff, we get to the very end of that riff, we go down to the 1st fret. I didn't put this in the transcription because it's so simple, it really didn't warrant an additional riff. When we go down to that 1st fret and we do that 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, and 4, down to the open string, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, and 4. Instead of going right into the intro riff or right into that bridge riff, after we've done that open string, we're going to grab the 5th fret of the low string, and we're going to hold that for 4 counts, and then we go into the next riff. So from that 1st fret, the very end of the chorus riff, it would be 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're into. Most of this, that riff and the next riff are going to work the same way that they did before the first solo, the main solo, but when we get into the final solo, the song's actually going to end in a couple seconds. So we modify that riff just a little bit, going from the 5th fret still. A lot of it is the same. We are looking at riff number 9 at this point, which is a lot like riff number 6, so you could think of it as 6A. The first 2 bars are going to be exactly the same. Starting on that 5th fret, it's 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 3rd fret, hammer to 5th fret, then 5th fret, 3rd fret, just like we did before, down to the 1st fret, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3. We slide up to the 5th fret again. This is where it changes. Rather than going 1, 2, and 3 and all the way through it, he only does it for the first bar, and then we actually do straight or even 16th notes through the rest of it. So it's 1, 2, and 3 and for the first beat. Then beats 2 and 3 are 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then we have that exact same 3 to 5 hammer-on riff that we had before. 3 to 5, 5th fret, 3rd fret, and then we grab the 5th fret at the very, very end, and we slide down with the guitars as well. So putting riff number 9 all together would be 1, 2, and 3, and 2, 2, and 3, and 3, 2, and 3, and hammer, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and slide, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, And that's it. There it is, guys. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, be sure to click like and let me know. You can also leave me a comment or a request for a song that you would like to learn. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future updates. And of course, if you haven't done it yet, grab that full riff by riff note and tab transcription so that you can follow along at home. And until next time,